Hey, welcome to our collective reading. I'm Empress Rose. These are general readings. We're going to take what works. We're going to leave what doesn't. As I get started in my little scrying ball here, I am looking at a black cat. And this black cat is looking at the past. And if I tilt my head one way, it's got a big smile on its face. And if I tilt my head another way, it looks very suspicious. At one point I had like googly eyes, just kind of shock. But that's what I'm seeing here. We have black cat talking about like intuition. Right. We're starting off with the Botanical Inspirations deck. The deck, we had one flip around when I felt something strange happen in my hand, but I wasn't quite sure what that was. So based on the Victorian idea that different flowers mean different things, and we can, send a whole bouquet as a paragraph. So first and foremost, we have amaryllis, determination and creative achievement. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Maya Angelou. Well, she would know, eh? So amaryllis. I was thinking of amaryllis as a very Christmassy flower. It feels very like giving your gifts to the world, right? We have to cultivate our gifts before we can give them to the world. We have to take care of our gifts, build our own gifts. So if you're thinking in any way that doing your own creative work is selfish, or taking care of yourself is selfish in any way, I mean, it is selfish in a very like strict meaning of the word, but it isn't selfish because these are your gifts. You are bringing gifts to the world, and so to cultivate them, to build them, to work on them, to work on yourself at all is a way of giving your best gifts to the world. Not your janky little half-ass gifts, but your best gifts. So determination and creative achievement. So sticking with something, some sort of creative process, some sort of creative work. Venice mallow, hibiscus trionum, delicate, and the mallow, these little mallow seeds are edible. I mean, you want to check like the variety and stuff. I'm not going to be responsible for poisoning anybody, but delicate, fleeting beauty. When life is not coming up roses, look to the weeds and find the beauty hidden within them. Yeah, this is about eating the weeds. This is about finding, like, mallow can be a little creeper, ground creeper, and but these little sort of caper-like seed pods are delicious. But it is like reminding me of wild edibles and eating the weeds and that kind of thing. And I think that's what we're getting at here with life is not coming up roses. Look to the weeds and find the beauty hidden within them, and the nutrition hidden within them. So creative determination and creative achievement, delicate, fleeting beauty. But the quote actually seems more powerful to me here, because one is about the long haul and one is about a short little flash in the pan experience. Then we're moving on to the Dreamscape Oracle by Matt Hughes. No, that's too many. Oh my goodness, now that I've seen them. We'll keep the original, but I can't have 12. We just want to do the one then? There's probably 8. There's probably 8 there, and the first one we got was octopus. That's really funny. I've never really thought about octopus as the 8, as the eternal. The octopus having very unique DNA, being a very unique creatures. They can often talk about multitasking. And this almost talks about going at 2 different speeds, or 2 different paces, a quick pace and a longer pace, right? The amaryllis is a bulb, and bulbs are, it's a perennial, it's a bulb, and those bulbs store a lot of energy, and it can be like a very long growing singular plant that comes back year after year. And then this one is more of a, is it a perennial? I don't know. Could be an annual, could be a perennial, but it produces seeds like an annual. But it just talks to me about like two different paces of things, something going quick and something going slow. And then the octopus talks about multitasking here, just so you may be working on multiple projects, some of them coming to fruition very quickly, and some of them maybe in for the long haul and a much longer process and a much longer vision going on with that one. So multitasking, this is like a space octopus. I don't know. Yeah, a space octopus for some reason is making sense. Is what comes to mind. And then we have these, there might be a sense of clinging to, multitasking and clinging to things. Maybe clinging to too many things. But it talks to me about this determination though. And then we have the gift, which is really funny because that's what this amaryllis, I immediately started thinking about the gift and the gifts we have to give the world and our creative gifts. This one has some question marks. Do we want to open this gift or not? Do we want to open this text, this email or not? Is this something, this one is more of like Pandora's box gift, but there is something here. I do think it's really interesting about this gift that has already come into this reading just with the amaryllis, and a creative gift is where I really want to go with it. But I think there can be some dual meanings here, and perhaps that's what's coming through here, is there's a dual meanings or dual pacings, or some things can go very quickly and some things must go very slowly and must have space and time to emerge, while other things can be very seasonal. And there might be a sense of trying to discern what's seasonal and what's longer term here. So this gift here, right? And that was the cat too. The cat was both like the cat is both able to look askance and able to look like sort of clever and happy and yeah. So this gift, there might be some questions about something like, is this a gift or is this a curse? Hold on, my neighbor is disturbing me. She's a very loud talker when she's in the hallway. Ooh. All right, so the gift, just a question mark of whether we want this or not, or whether this is a good idea or not. Just because someone gives you something doesn't mean you have to receive it. There may be ramifications that you're thinking through. There may be a sense of you know, gifts can sometimes obligate us, make us feel obligated and beholden to others. So there's like a big question about this gift. What does this gift mean? Are we sure we want to receive this gift? And if this is about your own creative achievements and your own creativity, that you might have a lot of questions about a sense of obligation. You might have questions about your own gifts. It looks like it looks like, oh, I don't know if I meant to do that or not. All right, and then I'm using this new deck, the Dream Reaver's Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. I've been working with it in my own personal practice for a while. Okay, did we want one more? This one's been almost daily since. Okay. Weavers watch the dragons fly. So this is about being the observer. And being the observer, watching your own feelings, watching other people's expressions, and just observing. I don't think there's it's not big decision, big movement energy here. This is watching your own thoughts, right? We have like watching our own thoughts. Like here's the brain, here's someone there, here's the brain, it's coming up. Again, we have like the eyes that were so prominent in this cat here, that have been doing all sorts of different things in that cat. and just watching and watching, observing. And maybe we've opened up some sort of Pandora's box here, and we're watching sort of all of the things flow out of that, and wondering about some of them, and wondering if they're all a good idea, if this was a good idea. There are lots of things sort of being opened up and being released in a way. This feels like a cauldron with like sort of steam and aromas, and we have like sort of this smoke and aromas coming out of this. So just the containers, and what's coming out of your mind, what's going on in your mind, what's coming out of watching your own thoughts flow, and also watching those of other people. I think there's a sense of, watching somebody else, watching how they watch, how they observe things, how they interpret things. So I think there's a strong sense of, yeah, right. She's just watching this open up here. And so there's something about watching and observing something. It could even be, film, TV, a play, and then observing your own reactions to what it is that you're observing. There's like layers of observation here. And there might even be like a sense of observing your own gifts and watching your own, like gift unfold. And Ram Dass and Jack Kornfield all talk about like being the observer and watching our own feelings unfold, and identifying more with the observer than with the feeling. I'm not sure we're necessarily analyzing here. Actually, the gift seems like maybe there's some regret, but I'm not even sure that that's the case here. As something's opening up, and there's a lot of flow happening. And so far, it looks like your job is to watch something unfold. And maybe there's a moment that's very fleeting. These dragons look very fleeting. There's emotions that are fleeting. And then underneath those is a longer term drive. So if you feel like giving up on something, or you feel like, I just want to say, if you feel like giving up on something, don't over-identify with a fleeting emotion, but understand the longer term plan and the longer term drive, and how these emotions come and they go. And more watching them come and go, watching perhaps a sense of hopelessness, or watching perhaps a sense of fear come and go, without having it necessarily derail the overall goals and desires. Like quitting is great. We should definitely be quitting things to make room for better things in our life. But if you still enjoy doing something, don't quit it. Maybe take a break, or if you get frustrated or have some frustration or discouragement about something, acknowledging that discouragement, but that's going to be fleeting. So I think that's what this is there's a fleeting moment about a longer term project or a longer term idea, and not necessarily letting that fleeting moment derail the longer term plan. That's the message. That's a message that is coming out in these cards. Okay, splitting the deck on the tarot. Underlying 5 of Pentacles. It's interesting. 5 of Pentacles. Focused on lack, on loss. There's a focus here and a lot of thinking about what's been lost. But there is this potential. There is heavy potential that you cannot see. It's things that haven't opened up yet. And the thing that has, it's an interesting, like this deck, the Guardians of the Night deck here, so it has such fascinating takes on these cards. There's like something that hasn't happened yet. And there is a lot of potential. And sometimes when things haven't happened, we don't have like the faith that they will happen, the long-term right? Here's this caterpillar. It hasn't gone into a cocoon yet. Here we have the 5 cocoons. But we all know for a fact this is not the ending spot. So we have something that just hasn't finished the transformation yet. But in the spirit of 5 of Pentacles, we have a focus, and that's what the owl is looking like to me here, is very focused on the loss of this tree, something having been stumped or stunted. And that's the focus and the frustration. Again, we have the eyes. We have the observer here observing this. And then we have this like latent potential in the background, but it's not the focus right now. The potential is not the focus. The loss has been the focus. And again, with the eyes here, it's very fascinating. And the focus. Where is your focus going? What are you focusing on? And I think with the longer, especially with creative projects and stuff like that, the longer term vision can be very difficult to maintain, very difficult to hold on to. It's easy to lose faith when the vision is large, and when there's not a vision, but maybe even a vague hope. It's easier to lose hope when there's not even a vision, and there's just like, I'd like that to happen. And that the process of faith and the process of having faith in the process is very important. So here we have just a focus on what's been lost. But what we as the observer can see, observing the observer, observing, there's just this like hall of mirrors here, but there's this we're observing ourselves observing, and we're observing ourselves observing only the loss and the negatives. And not even looking behind us to see the potential and see the whole 360-degree view of where we're actually at. Past, present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment, to-do list, possible outcome. More visioning here. All right, in the recent past, we have the Hierophant, or the priest, the preacher. The holder of the key, the teacher. They're going to tell you, they're up on their soapbox, and they're going to tell you exactly how to do everything. Exactly how to find the secret, what the key is. I can't tell if this one knows the key or doesn't know. If they're just making it up because they enjoy the attention from the acolytes. Or if they really actually do have something important to say that opens doors. You may have been taking a class. You may have, gone to school. The Hierophant would be talking about school, the leader. And then in your current situation, you have the King of Pentacles here. But this King of Pentacles looks like a feminine to me. It looks like the king is wearing the queen's crown. A nurturing vibe. A transformed, someone who has been through this process already. Like you may have been learning about something, learning from somebody. This King of Pentacles, I think we've had the King of Pentacles in just about every reading over the last little bit here. This King of Pentacles talks about arrival, achievement. Someone who does have money on their mind. Someone who does think about production, does think about is abundant, does think about creating abundance. There's also like a sense of leaps of faith having already been taken and achieved. And there are these like lightning bugs that are all lit up around this. I don't know why this is coming through as so much more feminine. We have a corvid here, a magpie, which often follow the cows, and the magpie is reminding me of the little mice here, as far as following this behind this cow to get the, you know, grubs out of the shit, or the poop, as we say here on YouTube. Yeah, so, and a sense of arrival, though. This person's already achieved. So with this next to the Hierophant, I'm seeing that if you've been to school or in class, or if you've been following someone, not everyone, but there is someone that you may have been following that does actually know what they're talking about. They've actually been there and done that and achieved quite a bit. They have quite a bit to give, and they know how to transform raw materials and ideas into actual, like I'm thinking of this, like this is supposed to be a bull, but I'm not seeing a bull at all. I'm seeing a cow that gives a lot of milk. And so there's a lot of milk for both all cow kind. And then there's also left a lot of, like, even their garbage is worth a lot to this magpie that follows them around and eats, you know, whatever lice and bugs. I think they're even like sit on top of the cow and do some grooming or something. So there's a symbiotic relationship too. That's not like this cow benefits from others benefiting from what they produce. So it's not like it's not like there's someone in your life that's just like, I'm just totally out here taking. I'm also giving back. And what I'm giving back, though, there's that I receive more. The more I give back, the more I receive, sort of vibe here. Look at this whole top row is the Hierophant, King of Pentacles, and the Hermit. It's just, it's very masculine, except for the King of Pentacles is coming in as quite feminine to me. I don't really understand what that means. It's just the productive end of cowness, I guess, the productivity of cowness. But the Hierophant and the Hermit sandwiching this King of Pentacles is just really interesting. And so then we have the Hermit. We have hopes, fears, inner landscape, being single, working solo, working only with your own intuition. Of course, this is represented as a spider, which to me is Anansi, the storyteller. Being fully immersed in their own creative work is what the spider always reminds me of, creative work. Just because that's how they basically create this art piece, and it's their home, it's how they get food, it's how they it's everything. It's their home, it's their meal ticket, it's everything. And how it works in my mind is the spider just creates, and then this is, and somehow their creation is also everything they need to be sustained. So in some way, this spider is reminding me of the dream of like creative work or sustained sustenance through creative work. And we have the King of Pentacles also talking about sustenance, and the Hierophant may have been preaching about something. And then we have the Hermit on your mind, sustenance, perhaps through creative work, or perhaps just the storytelling and the and the Hermit. The King of Pentacles really looks to me as somebody that's very enmeshed in community and finds success in community endeavors. And the Hermit talks more about someone that finds success in solo work, alone, and finding success doing something privately and through their own intuition and through their own work and their own wisdom and their own following very much their own inner guidance system as they create their world around them. working alone. Like these spiders don't work with others, but this cow energy is someone that's working with others. So maybe, so there seems to be a juxtaposition between working alone and being part of the community, and working alone and being part of the community, and some sort of, maybe that's a little bit of the push-pull energy I'm seeing over here with this, between the amaryllis and the mallow. Having your own vision, but also being in community with others. And that push-pull between independence and community. And then what's at issue here? 10 of Wands, a burden. Oh, but the 10 of Wands in reverse is very nice. I really like the 10 of Wands in reverse because it can be a gravity-assisted release. It can be a very natural release of fears, of obligations, of a burden here. It's like 10 of Wands upright is like, you know, we have the salmon, like going up the fish ladder here. And 10 of Wands is like you're finally at the top of the ladder. It's actually like a little bit of a lake at the top of the fish ladder. So it's super easy going for a while. You just went through like this 10-step ladder thing. And then now you've got some easy going as you head upstream, but it doesn't really feel upstream. It's all just feels really good. So in the reverse though, it almost feels like you're just going downstream for some reason, but and you're still alive and you haven't like spawned and whatever. I don't know. It just is a downstream feeling. It's yeah, it's like floating down the river, and you're not having to go up the river. It's like chutes and ladders, but this is the chute down, but it's good. But like the climbing is hard, but this is easy. There's something very easy here. There's a lot of ease. And there's something that comes in that's just that has a lot of flow to it. And some burden that you're carrying just easily is released. It's like you arrive at the party with kind of like a punch bowl, and it's heavy and it's swooshy, and you've had to go through all these steps to get this punch bowl to the party, not to mention the transpo, because for some reason you put it in the bowl before you transported it in the car instead of putting it in like some sort of container with a lid. And so it's all been a little bit difficult, and you arrive at the party and the hostess says, here, let me take that, and puts it on the table for you. And so you don't even have to struggle anymore. Someone just takes it off your plate and is like, no, I got this. Don't worry about this. I can do this. So there's like this ease, this sense of ease that comes in. It's a very effortless sort of release of a burden. And you're not, that's what's coming in, a very effortless release of a burden. And then in your environment, what you may not know about, Ace of Pentacles. Oh, I love this as something in your environment, this Ace of Pentacles, a new opportunity. And why did I say that you don't know about it? But before really, like, that's not normally how I see the environment. But again, we have this owl, but we have the matured owl here. This is sort of an immature owl, you know, not just really focused in their immaturity on what hasn't happened, and not realizing the burden, I mean that in the best, the burgeoning potential behind them. But the matured owl will see that. The mature owl will be aware that there's a lot more to a situation than they can see, than they can be aware. We'll have looked around them. We'll have gotten the 360 view around them, and we'll see, yes, right here we don't have something, but right here, right behind us, there's a lot, and it takes time, and there will be time. And when the time is right, there will be so much more than what we imagined here. Just looking at this caterpillar and seeing the caterpillars go into this like phone booth changing room situation, and then they're going to come out as Superman, right? And with the experience of the more mature owl, that they're going to be able to understand that that's what's going on, even though what is obvious is loss. So Ace of Pentacles here, something new beginning. One of these pentacles opens. One of them opens. Again with the fireflies here. there's a new opportunity. This is a real opportunity. It might be for creative work, determination, creative achievement. It might be about that, or spiritual work too. Just the whole wand suit is what's coming in here. You know, the Ace of Pentacles, the gift that's opened. Do we want it? Can we handle it? The observer, the opened mind. I think this watching the dragons fly is keep an open mind. Everything isn't quite as it seems. What you see in front of you, this stump here, it's not quite as it seems. Keep an open mind that this may be in the picture as well. This may exist too. You just can't see it. So that's a little bit of what I'm seeing here, is keeping an open mind about things. Yeah, there's a new beginning here. In reality, it's a new one. I feel like it maybe was foretold in some way here, with the Hierophant talking about the new beginning, and someone in your past, something in the past, talking about a new beginning here, talking about what's going to happen. And then in your current situation, we have the Devil. I love a jackalope. I have a jackalope as my screensaver on my phone. I love jackalopes. Sort of the feminine and masculine combined, the leader, the soft leadership. But this is the Devil card, so let's consider that interpretation. It's not necessarily fabulous. It can deal with contracts, and perhaps this King of Pentacles is providing a contract. It can deal with agreements. It can deal with things not being what they seem, something seeming soft and easy and nice, but actually being quite difficult and requiring maybe even you tapping into, I want to say a natural, you tapping into skill sets that are not natural to you. But it could be about contracts. It could be this gift. Do I really want to go in this direction? And seeing that, is this just, you know, a hair here, but seeing that there's something masked, or there's something you don't know about this opportunity. Yeah, that seems to be really clear here, as far as like something you don't know about the opportunity. Like getting into something, and knowing that once you're in it, it's harder to get out of something than to not get in it at all. It's easier to ask forgiveness than to ask permission. Yeah, it's better to ask forgiveness than to ask permission, because if you ask permission, then you're sort of in a way creating an agreement about something, and you're asking something. You're creating a coalition with someone if you ask permission, and acknowledging their right to give permission or not. But if you ask forgiveness, I don't know why I'm going down this rabbit trail or this bunny trail, but if you ask forgiveness, then you can go ahead and make your decisions the way you want to in hermit mode, and then the other person has to either accept or decline that something's already happened, and what are they going to do with it. So this has to do with the Devil card somehow. But it has to do with contracts, and it has to do with the Devil, just like on the face of it, not the visual face, but on the like known meanings of it, and on the visual space. But here I'm almost getting a reverse, something that maybe doesn't look, something that looks like a death is actually life. And death can also be, in some decks, it's referred to as the death and rebirth card. So we can be talking about the end of one way of being in the beginning. It looks like a death. So I'm actually getting the rebirth aspect of this. It looks like a death here with the skull, but it's actually a new life here. And so this may be what's going on here too with this new opportunity. It looks like the death of something, but it's a transformation, which we're talking about in this Five of Pentacles too, with these that have yet to transform. And then with this Ace of Pentacles opening up, it does look like something is transforming. And it is requiring you to transform along with it. You are showing up as this Hermit card. I do my vision my way. And this is requiring you to change. And you may not quite feel ready to change or want to change. I can't remember why this octopus is here. But it has to do with this change, the octopus changing colors perhaps based on its emotional state. And somehow the emotional state is also something that you're watching and observing. And with these cocoons here, and maybe this has to do with a cocoon. But there's transformation here. It looks like, no, this is the devil card, not the death card. It's the devil card. It's the death card. It's confusing me, which I think is really important. I think that's part of the message. But the devil talks about contracts and agreements, things that are easy to get into but hard to get out of. All right, well, Six of Cups. This is reunion. Joy, reunion. I mean, Six of Cups is just delight, joy. The elephants, the memories, good memories. This almost feels like a bit of a memorial or something, where we're remembering all these. We're remembering like 5 years ago, or we're remembering like people that have passed. It seems like. Oh, there's just a lot of delight in remembering the past here. A lot of joy in remembering the past. And right, I've got this cat that's both like, that can see the past both through like suspicion and with delight and a bit of a smirk. The Six of Cups has like reunion and remembrance vibes. The joy, really fun memories that you have with someone, reuniting. But there's definitely something about like remembering something. I mean, with the elephants, how can there not be, having such good memories? And then it seems like these ones are enjoying, a laugh over a drink while they're remembering perhaps their past selves, or perhaps their past friends or past experiences, or these seem to me to be like ghosts of the past and memories of the past. And these ones are talking about that and remembering that and enjoying that memory. And if we're talking about long-term achievements, maybe there's something that you're remembering. We have this Hierophant here, so maybe you're remembering something about Sunday school or a class that you took, and you're remembering people from that class. But it is in union with others, as far as like joining with others. This Hermit card has you sort of wanting to be alone. The Six of Cups has this like definitely not alone vibe. Or the Hermit card has you thinking about being alone, thinking about being solo. And the Six of Cups in the future has you not being solo at all. But there's memory. It's a Devil card, this contract, this addiction. But it's like dealing with an addiction or dealing with something, an agreement that was already made. Maybe dealing with a commitment or an agreement that was already made a long time ago. Dealing with, and maybe even not wanting to get into commitments or agreements because your past experience is that they're not, and we have something kind of difficult here. And there's so much authority with the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles. These can be boss energies. There's a lot of authority there. And I think you have to deal with like what you are beholden to and concepts about that. And I think there's just such a gentleness here too, though, with watching something, observing your own behavior. All right, and then from the Wild Kuan Yin, be guided now. Allow yourself to be guided. But the guide, did we get this recently? But the guide cannot take the steps for you. That is your job. But the guide can show you the way. It's up to you if you choose to take it, the guide, the Hierophant, perhaps from the past. If you choose to take it, whether you tread carefully, dance, or run along the sacred pathway towards the loving arms of the Holy Mother, she is always there to help you. And that's also what I'm seeing here, is someone that's helping you unburden yourself, perhaps. But there is help and there's assistance, but you have to make your own choices in this. And then this one. She always seems like she's having an out-of-body experience, some sort of astral travel going on here. And yet it talks about the body. Love your body and live your dreams. I want you to experience all that life has to offer. I want you to see your dreams coming alive in the world. When you love the sacred soul animal of your body as I love you, then you will manifest all that is divinely meant for you and thrive. So I think there are messages on their way. You're receiving messages as you go, messages that guide you. And I think this, like, loving your body is incredibly important too. Loving being in a body. Loving listening to your body, loving feeling the information that your body is giving you about certain situations or maybe even people, and being really in touch with your body and how it's responding to your environment and the people and things in your environment. So the Hermit card might be like wanting to stay home but having already agreed to do something. And having to deal with that, but you'll like it if you do something. All right, if you do something, you will like it. No, but there is a lot of enjoyment here in the future. Maybe with some old friends or some sort of reminiscing. Maybe a time to remember. All right. When I'm hearing like, stay if you will, go if you must. Thank you for watching this video, but obviously we're going. This video ends. So anyway, enjoy your week. We'll talk next week. Have fun in the meantime. Bye.